Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. Today, there have been a number of articles, of course, like usual, dealing with scams, but some of them actually had some interesting advice about protecting yourself from scammers and things like that. And I wanted to talk about these. Of course, the first one happens to be with a topic that, I don't know, we were talking about demonetization in the intro. I don't know, this could be it. This could be it. But a software package that some people are aware of, having a U and an O in their logo, has been constantly battling with Facebook, as well as many other companies out there. And they've just given up. They've said, you know what? Facebook has an entire team, paying an entire team dedicated to getting around these other guys. And so it's like, you know what? We're limited volunteers. If you choose to use an anti-consumer website and an anti-user website, have fun with it, buddy. And they also said, hey, if somebody else out there would like to maintain this and let us know your lists, we will be glad to review and incorporate them. But we're not using our own resources to battle Facebook anymore. And so they do call Facebook a disgusting anti-user site, which is why I blocked them on my entire network. Of course, I have one client that I have to help manage some of their Facebook stuff, so I actually have to poke a hole in my firewall to do that through one specific browser using that feature I completely hate, but this is the use case for it, the DNS over HTTPS. I can bust out of my firewall with that and get on to Scumbook. So they don't just rotate the ad markup occasionally. It hides the word ad by splitting it across unrelated bits of code and stuffing in junk text that's invisible to a person reading the page, but still trips up the filter looking for that pattern. So the ublock's actual development team is a small handful of maintainers, maintaining a tool used by tens of millions of people. Constantly re-engineering filters from one platform's evasion techniques was not sustainable against a company with entire teams dedicated to the opposite problem. And this is a separate issue of the Manifest v3, which of course is also further stripping down and destroying this software and others related to it. But Malwarebytes had an interesting article about why this particular war on this particular software could actually be helping scammers. And I completely see this argument. And this is the primary reason I choose to run said software package on my systems, because the problem is that these big tech companies, they don't care. In fact, I didn't pull the article up. I probably should have. But Facebook even had an internal report come out, leaked out. And it was saying that, yeah, we know a certain number of advertisers are scammers, and we even have the capability of blocking them all, but we would lose a lot of money. So we have to figure out how to allow enough of the scams on to not raise eyebrows and proactively block a few of them when they become big and ugly and nasty to make it look like we're doing. This was actually a Facebook internal memo. Okay. And we covered it a few weeks ago on the weekly news roundup, but, what's interesting here is this company they know a large number of their ads. I can't say a good percentage of their ads are actively malicious. They don't care because money is their bottom line. You are the person that gets scraped for their money. And if you happen to lose all of your life savings because of a scam ad you saw on Facebook, you think they're going to care about you? Not in the slightest. What do you expect from a bunch of psychopaths who have chosen actively to put their address at one hacker way, and you still give them access to your life? I'm sorry, delete this crap. But when ublock is going to stop blocking what's going on Facebook, this means that people utilizing the software are going to be susceptible to more of this malicious content. And so this article covers this. So publishers and platforms rely on advertising to fund their services, while users install blockers to escape intrusive banners, autoplay videos, tracking scripts, and feeds that increasingly feel designed around monetization rather than the people using them. The debate is usually framed as a contest between a platform's right to make money and a user's desire for a clean browser experience, but it leaves out an important detail that ads are not always merely ads. And that really is the point that we want to use right here and look at is that, yeah, if ads were just annoying ads, okay. Now, understand this too. I never blocked ads on YouTube until they became so absolutely intrusive, I couldn't take it anymore. Because I play videos in the background as I do things. It's very rare that I will turn on a video and sit there and watch it. Every once in a while, when my brain is turning into mush and I'm trying to re-solidify the mush into something resembling functional neurons, I will put on a video and just watch it. But for the most part, I'm playing a video, I'm listening to it in the background while I'm doing some other work. And there's something about that constant stream in the background, and then there's a interruption, and but now a word from our sponsor, or even worse, some ad pops up in the middle of it. It got to the point where I could not do that anymore. And if YouTube simply backed off a little bit, I'd allow it all on through, but I don't, because it's too invasive. Now, maybe I should buy YouTube Premium, whatever else. That's a discussion for another day. Maybe I should. Legitimately. I mean, I make a fair amount of money on YouTube. I watch a fair amount of YouTube. Turn that on, would pay that. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should reevaluate my budget and see if that's something I can do. I'm not going to tell people, though, turn off your ad blocker and watch Switch Linux stuff. No. Doing all right. Now, yeah, I could use a little bit more funds from time to time, but I'm doing all right. I don't want to subject you to something I don't want to subject myself to. And that really is the circumstance going on in here, all allegedly. And I'd say in Minecraft now, but people are getting banned for doing things legitimately in Minecraft. So in Black Ops, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, the reported decision made by ublock Origin's team to stop continually chasing changes to Facebook ads highlights a structural advantage by large platforms. A major platform can deploy changes on an enormous scale and has dedicated teams working on its project, advertisement systems, and the infrastructure. The problem here is that the ads, if the ads were just ads, that'd be okay. But look at Google's system. And I manage some Google ad campaigns for some clients. And when you go in to set up your ads through Google, there is no verification that the final link I put in there is actually the link I'm saying it is. So when you set up your ad, you can upload the picture. They can do AI automation to it all now too. But you go in, you set up your picture, and then there's literally a field where I say, okay, this is where I'm going here. And this is the subpage on the main TLD that I'm doing here. So when you see the ad and you actually see the ad on Google, for example, it'll print out the actual text where the ad is supposed to go. But that is not what controls where the ad clicks to. There is a separate field where I can actually input any page in the internet. And Google does not check that what I entered into that box matches what I said it is on the display to the text, which means anybody can go in and say, oh yes, this is the legitimate CCleaner. And of course, let's not use CCleaner because that whole thing was compromised. Let's say Etcher, right? Because Etcher is still, I don't know, even Etcher, there's some questions. Let's go with Etcher anyway, okay? So Etcher is a legitimate software, but it has been targeted by the malvertising. So people can go in, the scammers can go in and actually put the actual real URL in the text that you see in the ad, but they can put some other URL in there that will redirect them to a completely different page. There's no check to make sure what people are physically seeing, what they land in. That is it is an intentional built-in feature of the Google ad system. And it empowers scamming. So anything you can do to not see an advertisement on the internet, as long as that is a feature, not a bug in the system, you're protecting yourself. And that's something to keep in mind. So they do have a list of tips here in the Malwarebytes article, which is interesting. Better moderation of ads is better for everybody. And this is the thing. If they would do away with the argument that ad blockers are useful to preventing scams, let's not forget, YouTube overlords that might be watching this, the FBI recommends we use these products. Because of the amount of scams allowed through on advertising networks, including Facebook. Use an ad blocker. Because of that. So rather than treating every ad blocker as a threat to revenue, a more productive response to ad blocking is to make the advertising experience safer, less invasive, and more accountable. These are three beautiful words which are useful. So let's look at what their suggestion is here. So verify advertisers more consistently, especially in high-risk categories. So financial services, cryptocurrency, health, job offers, government benefit claims, things like that. They have got to verify that the link being put in there is what it says it is. Review not only the visible creative, but the destination page. That's the part I was talking about where they had things incorrect there. Detect and act on coordinated impersonation campaigns quickly rather than treating each fraudulent ad account as an isolated incident. Make it easy for users to report ads and give them useful feedback when action has been taken. Tackle ads before they can direct people into private messages where scammers can continue the conversation. Treat repeat offenders, cloned campaigns, and accounts linked to known fraud infrastructure as a network problem, which is more effective than moderating them one at a time. Yes, this is a core one here before I get to the last one. This is a big problem in Facebook. In the back end, in the business platform, you can manage all of your I think it's your Facebook Messenger conversations in there. I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't use this crap. What is this? But one of the things that I do for one client is I will go in there and a couple times a week I will go in there and I will see if there's any people asking us questions about the product line or anything like that, and I'll forward those on to whatever else or answer them, whatever the case may be. But for 5 years now, the exact same text and logo and everything is constantly duplicated across the entire thing. I have blocked and reported over 500 of these accounts. They're using the exact same picture, the exact same text. They're using the exact same method. Why in the hell can Facebook not just block it? Because they don't want to. They make too much money. Because they are immoral, absolutely psychopaths who chose to put their address at one hacker way, and you empower them by using their products. Stop. All right. Last one here. Give users meaningful controls over ad personalization. Here's a thought. No adverts personalization at all. Contextual ads only. No need to collect everybody's data. Okay. I don't want to go to a page on AMSOIL for a client of mine and then be stalked around the internet like a crazy psycho. AMSOIL, buy AMSOIL, buy AMSOIL. You know, there's all this. I will never buy AMSOIL. I would never change my oil again if AMSOIL was the only oil company left in the country. Nope, not doing it. You stalk me around like a crazy stalker and I'm just not doing business with you. All right, done. But that was the thing 15 years ago that showed me how bad this stuff was. But here's the thought, if I'm going on the internet, I'm researching reviews on headphones, maybe show me headphone ads because I'm probably interested in looking at headphones at that moment in time. But don't stalk me around with advertisement based on what you think I might want to see. And that does a lot for privacy. So users should be able to choose tools to reduce tracking, block invasive advertising, and stop access to known malicious sites. They should also be able to use browser protection, security software, and healthy skepticism when an ad promises easy money, surprise refund, miracle product, or a deal that seems too good to be true. So there is the first way you can protect yourself from scams and malicious content is use one of these products that the FBI recommends that we use. Fascinating. All right, next one's a good one. New Android malware lets criminals use your bank card in real time. Careful of that. NFC, if you didn't know, your phone by default has an NFC reader turned on, which means anything that you have, how do I phrase this? Not like anything, but your phone, by default, will be able to communicate with any form of NFC. This is what allows it to easily and conveniently use your phone to pay at checkout, which, by the way, every time I've seen people do that, I've never seen it being an easy and a clean experience. Never. It's kind of funny. This is supposed to be convenient, is it not? I can't tell you how many times I got stuck in line. It's like, I'd rather be in line behind the old woman writing a check for her groceries than somebody trying to use their tap to pay with their phone. It just doesn't work. I mean, yeah, it does in a way. Maybe it was just the Walmart app. I don't know. I think I've experienced that more at Walmart than anywhere else. And so with all of that being said, then what I wanted to mention there is the NFC relay here allows you to specifically get in and steal your banking card in real time. Now, this one does require, because the way bank cards are done with NFC, it's a rolling encryption. So they can't just grab it from the NFC and then use that perpetually. But what they're doing here is they're doing a multifaceted approach, which includes them calling you, pretending to be their bank, getting a rat installed on your remote access Trojan installed on your device, and then actively stealing your PIN in real time. It allows them to do a one-time transaction, or as many times as you are on the phone with them. So basically, because of all the data collection, now they know who you are, so they can call you up and impersonate your bank. So first step, if you happen to be called by your bank, do not answer their numbers. Say, thank you, I will call you back. Hang up the phone and call your bank directly on the contact information on your statements or what you know to be correct or things like this. Now, I actually had a case where malicious activity was going down on my card and the bank actually called me, which was kind of funny. And because I've studied this for so long, they call me up. Hello. Yeah, this is your bank, and we have some suspicious stuff. Can we verify information? I said, I will call you back. I hung up the phone. I immediately dialed back in, reached the actual bank, and indeed, it was actually the bank calling. So somebody was actually trying to steal the credit card number. And so we were able to get that resolved and fix the situation. In that case, that was working, but if your bank is calling you on the phone, never talk to the person having received the phone call, because it's too easy to spoof it. I will talk more about spoofing numbers in another article. We have another one related to phones. But to move this particular article on, they get on the phone with you, and then they tell you that there is a problem and that they need to get something verified in your account. So what they do is they have you sideload an app. Now, this might become much harder to do under the changes that Google is making to Android. But for now, this is what they're doing. They're installing an application. So they have Spy Note gains control of the phone, and then Spy Note will allow them to actually sideload another application called Wind Relay very quietly that you do not even know what's going on. It's the Wind Relay that is actually the NFC capturer here. So since they can't steal your card directly, what they're going to do here is they're going to verify your account, quote unquote, because they called you and you didn't call them back. And then they're going to get these apps installed on the phone, and then they're actually going to have you use the NFC on your phone to tap your card and enter your PIN on your phone. And Wind Relay takes that PIN and transaction in real time and redirects it to another payment system they're already doing. So once you are on the phone with them and they have these apps installed, they're having you tap your credit card with your NFC reader on your phone. And by doing that, they're actually able to steal the information in real time. This allows them to make purchases or withdraw cash from the ATMs, but they can't do this forever because of the way that the NFC credit cards have rolling encryption keys. So a critical feature of the NFC relay is the real-time relaying, since payment card transactions use dynamic transaction-specific data. Timing is central. So how do you protect yourself? Of course, be skeptical of calls and text messages from people you don't know, especially claiming to be urgent. When your bank calls you and says, "This is super urgent, do not hang up the phone," the first thing you do is hang up your phone and you call your bank back directly. If you have any question, there is always a 1-800 number on the back of your credit card or debit card or any other card it is that goes to a 24/7 managed account where they can look at your account fraud details in real time. Call that number on the back of your card if your bank is not available. And so that's really what you do. Don't install any applications that somebody tells you to. Avoid sideloading apps, of course, and use an up-to-date malware solution. And I don't know if there's much good, useful malware solution on Android these days. I'm pretty sure most of those are just malware themselves. So I don't know. And so our next one here, scammers are using fake crypto AML checkers to drain your wallet. So the AML checker is an anti-money laundering program. And these are the tools that are now like, you should recommend doing these things rather than just jumping out and using, interacting with people online. So now the scammers are basically making fake versions of these sites. The idea is that you can punch in the number into here and see if that wallet is tied to a scamming site, but the malicious ones have you verify your wallet account too, and in that verification step they have just connected and drained it. So scammers are creating fake crypto wallet sites to promise to tell whether a wallet is linked to suspicious activity, but instead you are tricking you into giving them access to your wallet. So for a basic wallet check service, they only need the public address. You do not need to connect your wallet. If an AML checker asks you to connect your wallet rather than simply enter the public address, treat it as a warning sign. So obviously the big take home here, they actually have, a couple of these guys here, and they look legit. I don't know if one of these is the real one, one of these is the fake one. I don't know. They really look legit. Oh yeah. One of them is real. This one is the real site, and this one is the fake site. So it is almost a perfect duplicate there. The fake one does not have the menu at the top or the language stuff at the top. But for the most part, it's pretty close. And so if you ever want to check your wallet, if they're asking you to log in, then that's a warning sign. So, don't log into various things. Of course, once you do connect it or interact with it, they can tailor the scam directly to you. And so be careful on all of those. And on to our final one here. Your polite reply to the text is worth $2 on the dark web. This is an interesting one as well, because I did receive a text message the other day, and I was getting to think, was this thing or not? So usually if I get a text message that is unsolicited, I just ignore it. In this case here, I generally look up the number first. This one here was a local number that was tied to what appeared to be a therapist's office. And so I looked at it and I kind of weighed the odds on that. And I said, well, maybe this is legitimate. So I did actually respond back because I was worried about it would be some therapist looking for some client, confirming a meeting or something. And so I did that. Now, is it possible that it was all spoofed? Absolutely it is. So it is possible that my number is there on the dark web now for $2 as a quote unquote polite active response. But the thing is here is that, they actually fall into a couple of categories here. So when you get a random unsolicited text, hey, we still on for dinner tomorrow? Don't forget the wine. If I got a text message like that, yeah, I would definitely ignore that. But it could legitimately be, especially for me, I get messages from clients I don't have. I have a client will pass my number to a friend. So it's not super uncommon for me to get legitimate unsolicited messages from people that are not crazy scammers. So I kind of weigh that in my OPSEC to decide what I actually want to do here. But if you are polite, so if you get something like these and you say politely, hey, I think you have the wrong number, your reply just told the sender something valuable, not because of a technical exploit or an invisible cyber attack, but because you just proved you're the kind of person who responds to strangers politely. That is basically used against you. So what they'll do is, here is if they do it quickly. So there's a couple ways they respond to these. So this one here is if you respond quickly and politely. Your quick, polite response tells them you're responsive. You saw the message and felt compelled to reply. Immediately places you on the top 15 to 20% of most active numbers category. You're polite. You didn't ignore it and you didn't respond aggressively. You wanted to help a stranger. So scammers deliberately exploit that instinct to be polite and helpful. And you reply quickly. The time between their message and your reply can reveal how closely you monitor your phone, help estimate your time zone, and indicate how likely you are to respond to future messages. So what they'll do if they do that first one there, is they might actually try and get into a conversation with you. So if some random stranger texts you, you say wrong number, and then they want to get into a conversation with you, they're probably a scammer. So, hey, let's see, what is this? Who is this? Oh, what is your name? What's yours? You have a car? Nope. Okay. Are you single? No. Who is this? Are you a woman? Who is it? Yeah. Okay. So they're basically having these conversations, but the way they'll actually do some of these is they'll carry you on for a little bit, and you feel like you're bringing up a report, and then they'll come in like, hey man, things are going great. I just found this cool investment opportunity, and I made this much money, and it's not an outrageous amount of money, but it's not nothing either. And so this kind of empowers people to stop back and go, hey, maybe I should look into it. After all, I've been having this report with somebody. So this is, around week 3. I've been really making really good money on investment platform. Almost 4,000 last month. That's crazy. And waits for you to ask what it is. That's kind of what they're doing. Now, the second response here is, if you replied wrong number and never heard from them again, you think you dodged the scam, but instead your number is simply moved to a different category: active, responsive, polite, but not susceptible to the wrong number hook. So this is not a person that's, if you do get one of these and you feel compelled to reply, the best thing is just reply wrong number, and do not engage in further conversation. Like, sorry, I'm busy. Leave me alone, or whatever else. A week later, you receive another text from another number. Hey, saw your profile on LinkedIn. Well, I already automatically know that's a scam because I don't got no LinkedIn profile. Okay. We have an opportunity that's perfect for your background, or your package couldn't be delivered. This is an interesting one because I did actually have to order something and send it to somebody else. And it was right in the middle of the time I was leaving for the other camp. And so I didn't follow up. And I just got a message today that, hey, when's this thing arriving? So I had to follow up with the shipping company and realize, oh, they didn't actually ship it. I got a shipping notification, but they did not actually ship it. So hopefully that's resolved now. But yeah, if you just tried to deliver a package, you got to be careful of these types of things. This is why I never rely on email or phone updates for package delivery stuff. There's just too many scammers in there. I always log in. Like when I go and order something from Scamazon or something, then I will I'll log in once I know the thing's shipped. I will log into Scamazon directly into my account, and I will click the tracking number from there, and that way I can see what the actual status is. I'm not going to be interacting with people on my phone or email or whatever else. And so you have to be careful. So here's the most common hooks. See you tonight at 6. Don't be late. Did you send those files to the office? Hey, are we still on for dinner tonight? So that's a friend that doesn't exist. The concerned neighbor, sorry to bother you. I've noticed your dog sometimes run into my yard. Yeah, I know that was a scam too. I ain't got no dog. Dogs running your yard? I just respond, all right, shoot it. I'm joking. I found a phone number on a dog tag. Is this yours? Or, hey, your package was delivered to my address by mistake. There you go. So professional mix-up. Tried to reach you about the delivery. Shipment arrived. Mike from the office get my message earlier. Family emergency. Sarah, there's been an emergency. Is this common name? Number? Something happened. Yeah. Or the recruiter came across your profile. We have an incredible opportunity. Yeah. All right. So obviously these things are kind of growing. A lot of the reason is because people keep falling for it. Guys, if y'all stop falling for these things, they'll stop because they're not going to keep spending money. But here's how it goes. To send 10,000 SMS messages, it costs them $200. So 15% reply. That's 15,000 of them are going into AI managed chats that only cost them $30. I believe this is per month or something. 20% keep chatting. 3,000 chats are handed to human scammers at 0 because it's either exploitation or forced labor, which is actually common in this industry. 10% enter the investment scam. 45 victims send money, which sends about $5,000 per victim, which means the total cost of the scam is $230. They have estimated revenue for scammers of $225,000, and that is a 978 time return on investment. So that is why they keep on doing this. So don't respond to a lot of these messages. Be very cautious if you